Muzen Meadery in Guadalajara, Mexico. Um, he's a phenomenal dude. I've had him on a couple different times. I've had a couple of his meads. He's probably one of the premier mead makers in Mexico, if you ask me. I'm sure there's plenty of other mead makers that may contend that or contest that. Sorry, but from what I've seen, this dude is doing some really wild stuff. I always love talking to him. He's probably one of my biggest mead friends, best mead friends, however you want to put that. He's been following me since the beginning. I try to follow him as much as I can, and we always do it up big and everything like that. So Tony's going to be joining me tonight, and we're going to be talking all things mead, talking about the state of mead in Mexico, how it's going down there, kind of continuing like the international theme I had going on after speaking with Marius from Marlow Bobo over in Norway on Saturday. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. It's post up on my YouTube channel. For those of you who'd like to watch it without having to be kicked out every time that you're accidentally scroll away from the video or internet gets paused or whatever. So yeah, everything is post up over on my YouTube channel. Search TK and Drinks over there, and you can get up on that as well. So as soon as Tony pops in, we will get him on, and we will be speaking and talking and doing all that good stuff. So it's good to see everybody's popping in. Appreciate everybody stopping in today. We got a couple different meads here. I was gonna let him pick which one we're gonna drink on, because unfortunately I don't have any of Tony's stuff. It's a real bummer, but getting stuff from out of country is not always the easiest thing to do. So it looks like Tony's in there right now. Let me send him a little join request. Maybe if the internet keeps up with me. And appreciate you popping in here. Performa. Anybody also need some merchandise with your logo on it, anything like that? Performa Angelina Martini, out there in Texas. Oh, and there's Tony. Look at you, you fucking hair farmer.
How you doing?
I'm doing really good. You
Good.
you got the exact same haircut and everything my dad does. Same beard, same haircut, except for
Nice.
his is a little more salt and pepper than yours.
It's getting there. I got some in there, you know.
He said I got a little bit in
Yeah.
there. How you
Hey, puppies.
been, man? Haven't talked to you in a hot
I,
minute.
I'm doing all right, bro. Just working, meat making, meat stuff, you know.
Yeah. Oh, and then we got Doggo.
Yeah, I'm just kind of chilling here on the floor with my dogs, and she loves attention. Her name is Sansa.
Hi, Sansa.
What? So here, lay down. What's going
So
on,
right
man?
on, man. Oh, nothing much. Just another beautiful day in the neighborhood, as we say around here.
Good.
Um, yeah, just hadn't been talked to you in a little while. Needed somebody to chat with that's familiar with mead and somebody whose opinion I enjoy and let somebody I like to talk to and all that stuff. So you were easily one of the first people I thought of.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's going to be kind of hard to live up to your last interview. Marlo
Oh,
Bobo was freaking amazing stuff, man. I enjoyed what he was talking about. I've seen that before, but I enjoyed that whole blending of meads. And
yeah,
I just recently did a blend myself for the first time, and I think it came out okay. Pine mint,
yeah,
actually. And I don't know, it sounded pretty cool stuff. So we'll see. I
yeah.
think I'm going to start doing that a bit more.
Yeah, I'm totally heading down that road. I'm gonna go full cuvee route. Everything's gonna be a blend. I like there was another guy I met at Sugar Belt last year. His name was Martin from Tuber Meadery and Blending. I think he was called Meads and Blending or something like that. But he's in I was talking with Marius about him. He's in I think Denmark or Holland or
Mhm.
Netherlands, something like that. But yeah, the blending thing is I'm all about it. I'm here for all of the blending.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So since I think the last time I interviewed you, you had either just opened or were getting ready to be commercial because you're now officially commercial. You've been operating that way for a good while now.
Uh, I want to say a couple of years in December that
Oh,
just passed, but
it's
kind
been that
of
long already.
because Yeah, it's been a while. Started selling meat at like farmers markets,
Right.
except they're more like pack markets instead of because there's no fruit or veggies. But
Gotcha.
I started, I think, December 12th, 13th of 2021. Um,
21. Okay. Yeah.
Went horrible. I mean, literally sold like two, three bottles, I think, and didn't sell anything at all, or didn't go make the effort to until the April of last year. No, the year
Yeah.
before, on 2022,
Okay. There we go.
and it went pretty bad too. Actually, sold a lot, but it didn't even recuperate the spot that I paid for. But
Ooh.
honestly, right now at this point, I'm selling mead mainly just to kind of pay for the honey because man, the honey is kind of expensive. I mean, the last couple of years, it maybe doubled, almost at least doubled in price.
Yeah.
You know, I was paying like
Yeah.
1,200, 1,400 pesos for a bucket of honey,
Yeah.
and now it's anywhere between 22, 2,400 to maybe 35, 4,000, depending on whether it's multifloral or like a single variety.
Yeah.
Um, but and what's that like difference of what is it like maybe 60, 75 bucks a bucket versus like double that a bucket, which is
Yeah.
considerably cheap. I'm assuming because I'm sure it's more expensive there, but in terms of
You're talking
pesos, good God,
for like a
yeah,
1 gallon
no,
bucket
5 gallon.
for 5 gallon. Yeah. Yeah. 5 gallons here. I mean, I can't even find somebody to sell me a 5 gallon bucket. The last 1 gallon I was able to find somebody to sell me was like $75.
Wow,
And
for
yeah, and I
one
can
gallon.
imagine for 1 gallon, yeah, it was $75. And I mean, it was really good wildflower honey. I wasn't disappointed with it. But like I've been looking around. Hey man, you got 3 gallon, 5 gallon pails, anything like that? Nope, sorry, we don't have any of that. And I don't know if it's just because of the time of year it is or whatever. But I'm here in Central California. I mean, there's fruit trees everywhere,
Wow.
and and nobody has any honey. I see beekeepers or local honey signs, and every single time I stop, and I say what anywhere from 3 to 5 gallons, and they look at me like, you want all of my honey that I have to put it all into one bucket for you? I'm like, sorry, it's just what
It's
I want.
it's pretty bad because it didn't really rain this last year up a lot here, and I was
Mm-hmm.
talking to an apiarist that the street that I buy honey from, one
Yeah.
of them, and the same story with all of them though. But he was saying that this year he harvested maybe 20% of what he normally does harvest because of the lack
Whoa.
of rain and stuff like that. It's incredible how little he harvested. Um, but uh, but yeah, either way, to go back to what you were saying, after that festival, I didn't start
Yeah.
to sell meat again until maybe mid 2022. Like once a month, I'd go to farmers markets, and then this last
Yeah.
year, I started going more to like festivals and farmers markets, and this year, I'm going to try to just mainly go to festivals and see how that pans out
Yeah.
and whatnot. And maybe try and get some stuff in at a few different like bars and what have you.
There,
But
there you go.
making an effort, but I've noticed because I keep track of everything, so I've noticed that each compared to 2022, 2023, I had to double the production. So now I'm hoping that, and I believe I have to. I'm going to have to double it again this year.
And
So it's a good sign.
what do you mean by having to double it? I mean, like nobody's
Well, let's.
forcing you to if you don't have accounts. I mean, it seems like an odd way to put it.
It maybe it is an odd way to put it, but meaning that I've been selling enough meat that
Oh,
I'm running out a lot of it, running out of it sooner than I would normally. So I'm gonna have to make more so that I don't. Um,
I gotcha.
so and that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah.
Even though I still have to, even though I still have to explain a lot of the times what it is
Yeah.
and stuff, it's a good sign, and I'm getting my name out there, and
Yeah.
people are recognizing the brand, so that's pretty good. You got to start
Heck
somewhere,
yeah.
I guess.
Hell yeah. How far are you traveling to any of these events to sell your stuff, or how are you doing it? Mostly through like word of mouth and like in-person sales, or I'm assuming you're not doing like online sales.
in person, word of mouth, farmers markets or craft markets. There's a lot of them in the city. I live in a big city. Um,
Yeah,
so there's a ton of those around here. Like, God, I don't even know, at least 20, 30 different farmers markets.
yeah.
And there's a few beer festivals here too. And a couple of hours from here, maybe an hour and a half, there's I think there's one like medieval fair type thing. And I'm trying to talk to this cat in Mexico City that has like a mead hall that just opened up, and he
Uh-huh.
wanted me to send him some mead. So I think I'm gonna send him some mead
Cool.
this week sometime to see what he thinks, and just go from there. You know? Come on, lay
Anybody
down,
I know?
lay down. I don't think so. I
Hmm.
don't think so because I don't think he makes any mead. I think he just opened up a
Oh,
thing. So we'll
I got
see.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was always interested if you and Raul de la Garza ever like ran into each other or crossed paths or anything.
I'm not sure who Raul is. Do you know where he lives? I'm assuming
I
Mexico.
don't.
So
I
okay,
don't, but he has a meadery down there. That was the only reason I assumed so, not just because I think all Mexicans know each
okay.
other.
You mean white people don't know all each other? So.
Hey, it happens more often than I would thought it would. So
Where is he? Do you know? Not at all.
I I want to say he's in Mexico City. I know that's not super close to you.
No, it's not.
But
But do you know the name of the
I'll look up his
meadery?
information. No, I don't. I'll look it all up and shoot it over to you and
Okay.
everything. He was I heard him on Got Meat a couple different times,
Oh, cool.
and Jim, he says we all do know each other. Of course, yes. All my Mexican friends all know each other, regardless of where they're actually at in life. I love it.
Well, I guess I do
Before we
know
get,
Jimmy. I mean, I guess his family lives like a stone's throw away from me, so
yeah,
it's
say I saw
kind of
him
funny.
drinking one of your meads. I was like, where the hell did you get one of those?
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny.
That's
He
freaking
told me
awesome.
where they lived, and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me, man! It's just like around the corner." I'm like, "Oh, great. Well, make it easier." So
No
it's all
shit.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy's a great guy, except for when he's sneaking you Fireball or Malort freaking flaming hot Cheeto Malort shots. Um, so I'm gonna open one of these
Go for
meads
it.
and drink on one of these. I was curious what your opinion was. I got a sweet traditional from Retro Meadery. I got a blueberry vanilla from a home brewer named Indie Meads, and then an absinthe inspired one from Alia Ecta Est over in Pennsylvania.
Let's go with the absinthe one. I love absinthe, even though it tastes like black licorice. Not my thing. So let me know
Yeah.
what's it like, please. I'd like to know what you think. And actually,
So
I
I
have a couple of meats here I wanted
oh yeah.
to open. There's this one. It's a CBD and French oak. Um,
Ooh.
and also, this one doesn't have a label. I only have a couple of bottles left. In fact, actually, I'm saving a bottle for Jimmy. But
Oh, okay.
this one is made with stingerless bee honey. Um,
I've never
if
heard you posting about that.
it means anything to you, uh, it's probably super. It's well, when I first got it, which was a few years ago, it was what was it like maybe $50 to $100? No, I'm sorry, $25 to $50 a pound. Now
Whoa.
it's 50 to 75 around there,
Holy crap.
because apparently there's stingerless bee honey or stingerless bees all over along the equator, all over the world. There's
Okay.
two species in Mexico that are native to here called I don't remember the goddamn name, but one of those something like Sapta something Dragona, and another
Okay.
one called Beachy. But they're both stingerless bees, and the honey that I got is a mixture of the honey of both of them. And apparently, there's only like one harvest a year, and it's a very low amount. So
Oh,
I made a traditional of this before, and it was a sweet traditional, and I added some orange um, uh, sass and some wood, and so just to kind of balance it out. But I wanted to make a show mead, and you being a BJCP judge, a show mead, as you know, is nothing but water, honey, and yeast, and that's
yep.
what this is. But goddamn, man, I loved it. It's a shame that I only have a couple of bottles left, to be honest. Well, thank you,
Uh,
Jimmy. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Glad you liked it.
Yeah,
And that's
I
what I'm going to open.
oh, very cool. Yeah, I hate when you get down to the last bottle, last couple bottles or something. It's like oh, every time I go to open it, it's like I feel like you get that same like anxiety that I used to get on like the night before the first day of going back to school after summer break. It's like this like feeling of impending doom. Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
There,
I don't want
there's
this to
no more.
happen. I mean, it's going to be a good thing, but no.
Yeah. Salute, buddy.
Salute.
Cheers. Call.
Cheers.
What do you think?
Um, I wish Drew was on here. He watches sometimes because he's been dying for me to do a review on this one, so I'll at least tag it in there and stuff. The nose is pretty spot on. It's very like anisey, like really like overly so. Like I'm not a huge fan of anise, but it's just like
Oh, I
it's
hate
like
anise.
somebody oh, it's like somebody took a like ground up a bunch of fennel and just painted it down the middle of your fucking tongue.
Okay.
Like I
Yeah.
really don't want to drink any more of
It
this.
just it reminds me of all the horrible hangovers from like Jaeger,
It doesn't
because Jaeger
even
tastes like it, like anise. I just can't stand it.
see like with me with Jägermeister, I always got like the licorice root and like the more like earthier type of notes, but like almost like mud, something like that. But this is like like just super astringent or what's the other one? Not acetic. It like right all I can taste is like almost like an extract or something like it had just been poured right down my tongue. It's
Okay.
just and it's just not going away at all. Like
Take another sip. See what happens. Gracias, Miguel. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, dude.
all
Taste
right.
any different?
I'm gonna let it breathe for a little bit. Maybe it warms up because it is pretty cold. So let's let it breathe, and maybe it's see okay here made with wildflower honey, licorice root, and anise seeds, anise hyssop, 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 star anise. Oh, tarragon,
Is that what it is?
coriander. Yeah, there's a tarragon in there too. Coriander, cardamom, nutmeg. Like the only thing that I don't know what that anise hyssop is, HYSSOP hyssop. But yeah, that tarragon in there too. Holy cow! Fuck you, Jimmy. I don't even have any Malort. And that's actually, you know what? This kind of has some of that Malort-esque type of taste to it. It's most definitely not for me. When I was a much younger person, I had um, a membership to a absinthe club. I did a 1 year thing. It was one bottle a quarter, and I got one from Poland, one from France, one from Czech Republic, and one from somewhere else, and they were all different. And I liked them because they were all thick and heavy and syrupy, and they were like 180 or 140 proof, something like just really thick and heavy and gnarly.
Did it have
Um,
wormwood in it still, or?
yeah, they were all had like true wormwood and added thuyans in it and all that. And I was, it was trying to chase the green, trying to chase the green fairy and whatnot. And one of them wasn't even green. One of them was like, it looked like ouzo almost. It was clear and like thick and syrupy. It was
Hmm.
weird to see something that viscosity, that clear. But they were all very, similar in taste. But this is, like I said, maybe this needs to warm up and whatnot, or maybe it's just the blend isn't my preferred preference. So,
Okay.
but how
Well,
was yours?
uh, I I love it even more, to be honest with you. It's the like I said, this particular mead was a mix of both of those species, and the people that I got it from, they said that it was um, they had the bees or the different honeycombs in like some kind of orange grove. So
Ooh,
it's citrusy, and that's why I added the orange zest to the other one that I made. But it's got a little bit of the like citrus to it still. Not only that, but it's um, a little uh, also acidity has some acidity to it.
hmm,
And remember, this is a show mead, and the reason it does have that acidity though is because of the type of honey, because it tends to be in the south of the country, so it's a lot more humid. So
okay.
it's known that this type of honey actually is very fluid and actually ferments slightly. And that's why it's
Oh, nice.
peculiar or kind of like sneaky when people try to sell you this kind of honey when it's actually just regular honey, but it's just slightly fermented because it's got a
Gotcha.
similar taste to it. But this is it's got all of that. It's actually has some body to it too,
Cool.
which is kind of strange, but it has a lot of character of that honey. It's pretty decent, dude. You know, I
Yeah.
wish I could send you one of these,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
exactly.
Now you didn't make any adjustments to these at all? I mean, just because it's a show me doesn't, I mean, you're technically allowed to, add oak and make some minor, acidic and adjustments and whatnot, but you chose not to go that route.
No, my understanding of that a show mead it really is nothing but honey, water, and yeast,
Oh, see,
because which is
I
different
was
than like a
always
traditional, a traditional water, honey, yeast, but you can add stuff to it to like increase tannins, not for flavors, but for
right,
tannins, body, acidity, etc.
right.
But
And
maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe somebody can, you know, what do
yeah,
you?
yeah, I was all, my understanding was that they were synonyms, a traditional and a show mead were the same thing, just like one term came from like one background and one term came from like another background. But I could be wrong.
Maybe.
Show mead could mean no adjustments, anything. It's just whatever comes out of the fermentation is what you
Mm-hmm.
get. And if that's the case, then yeah, that makes it even more impressive. I never, I guess I hadn't looked deep enough into that difference. I was trying to pull up my laptop and realize it was dead as I was pulling it up earlier because I would have had it right there in front of us. But as it is, no will. We'll survive.
Yep, yep.
So
No puppies.
state of how's the state of mead in Mexico? You guys have meaderies opening up and closing down left and right, or any of that type of stuff? Because it's madness here.
Um, if you want to compare it to the States, if anything, it's not known well enough for there to be a lot of different meaderies. I think
Mm,
really the only meadery that I know of um, that's open is that Collins one
mm.
in Mexico City. So there's really only one. But everybody else that sells mead, there's a lot of people that sell mead, but
I
they
got you.
don't really have like a meadery per se where you can just go sit down, have a mead, eat some food, whatever, you know. Um,
I got you. Yeah.
but that meadery from those guys, I think um, they have that place where they sell it, but they also have the actual brewery in a whole different place. So I'm not sure if we really consider that a meadery or not. But then recently, I think at the end of November, maybe early December, that meat hall opened up in Mexico City as well. So they're all in
Gotcha.
Mexico City, mainly because I guess Mexico City is one of the largest cities in the world, So um, they have a lot of people that are looking to get buzzed. I just wish
Yeah,
that.
you could just stop that, but they have a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah, they got.
uh, I wish that I that more people knew about it.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of time, any time that I go to any festival or even farmers or craft markets, I always
Yeah.
have to explain what it is and stuff. Maybe um, not as much as I did when I first started selling mead, but I still have to do that. And I
Right.
don't think that's really going to change. It's not like craft beer, where even if you've not drank craft beer, you know what it is.
Right. Everybody already understands what beer is. They might not know the flavor, they might not know the particulars, but they understand the concept of what a beer
Yeah,
is. A lot of people don't even understand the concept of what mead is. It's what now? It's a
exactly,
thing you did with honey. It's what? But yeah, a lot of times
exactly.
you get that like confused dog tilt.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I have noticed though because I follow a lot of people that make mead and such that some people just
Mhm.
stop posting stuff and um,
Yeah.
the accounts deactivate and things like that. So maybe that's a sign that either you know they put all their eggs in one basket, or a pandemic, or whatever the case. It sucks that
Yeah.
a lot number of meaderies in the states closed. It's
Yeah.
a shame.
I was just I was just talking with my friend Reed in Arizona about that. I had a list going. I want to say on my I got a Samsung, so I opened up the little Samsung Notes thing, and I think I just started typing them in on one line, and I'm down to like almost down to the bottom of my third page. I want to say it was. I remember it panned out to basically um, one every other week for like 3 years or something like that. It was something ridiculous, like 40 something meaderies, 50 something meaderies. I couldn't believe it,
That's
and
so cool.
I'm just astonished that there's that many places that just closed up shop and shut down. How many places are even opening? I mean, I couldn't even count how many new places are opening, but that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because you always have a really good insight on on you're a smart guy, and I enjoy your smartness, is my stupid way of saying it. Um, but a lot of these places that are opening, you think that's a like an albatross right now is trying to open up a brick and mortar establishment in the middle of recessions and um, uh, inflation and all these things. They say they're going away, but I'll tell you what, every single home brewer, like you're saying, price of honey is still out of range for most people anymore. It doesn't feel like things are getting better out there for the
Um, uh,
craft beverage
uh,
world.
I don't think I think it's a good thing that there's a lot of people that are opening up. I think it's a wonderful thing because I like to learn from people, even if it's people's mistakes. Unfortunately for them, but good for me. You
Yeah.
know, I I think it's a good thing. It's a shame that they're doing that, but at the same time, there's a difference between the meat culture here versus the meat culture in the States versus the meat culture in, let's say, Poland, for example. You
Sure.
know, and you know that. And I think it's a lot harder to do that here, mainly because the meat culture is maybe a good 10 years behind the US,
Oh wow.
hundreds behind Poland, for example, So, and meat culture over there is pretty huge. So it's like, beer or whatever,
Yeah.
um, but I think it's a good thing because that way they expose people to it. I hate to say this, but even if people sell crappy meat, it's a good thing because then people are exposed to meat, and then they can try other stuff and be introduced to it and say, hey, well, this is decent or this is bad, but I don't want to give up on it. So let me try something else, and so on. So they experience with something else, and they buy something else, or they drink something other brand. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
that's
and
how I see it, anyways. Um, I'm just kind of biding my time, to be honest with you. My goal ultimately is to open up a physical brick and mortar place. It's where you can go have a beer, not sorry, beer, a mead, and some food, whatever, and have my lab, if you will, in the back somewhere. Um, but
yeah.
I'm I wish that laws would change here in a certain way to where mead would be recognized by the laws or the government.
Mm.
Um, Mead's so old here. People don't even know it, but there's the historical mead for Mexico is a balche mead, and a balche
Okay.
mead is a type of tree that grows in the Yucatan area,
Oh.
and it's protected by the government. Actually, you can't even take it out of that state anywhere.
Oh.
If you do, then you get fined heavily.
Right.
And but Bacha meat is pieces of the bark, pieces of the tree with melipona honey, the stingerless bee honey, and obviously wild yeast and
Yeah.
water. And the Mayans used to use it for rituals, and it's more than 1,000 years old. The reason I'm explaining that is because Mexico also has another drink that's very native to here called pulque, and pulque is actually protected by the government, meaning that they get also like tax breaks and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that because it's so old and ancient here. So if the government opens their eyes a bit and sees that meat is actually like that too, then it'd be great to, get, breaks on taxes and stuff for it,
Yeah,
especially if you open up like a actual meadery, So
yeah. It's interesting to hear the differences between, like we were talking with Marius last week. They're not allowed to advertise anything, he was saying, which I
that
find
surprised me.
absolutely, yeah, I find that just beyond. I mean, now I feel kind of bad even asking him to do an interview. He's going to have the feds knocking on his doors like, hey, you did this interview with this American guy, we consider that advertising, so fork over money or something. I'd feel terrible. And then you're in a situation where the government's like, the product you're making doesn't even really exist, so we don't even know what
Yeah,
to tell you.
exactly. And I mean, you can get your license and stuff like that by registering as like a brewery, like a beer brewery or what have
Yeah,
you, or even a winery. But it's a lot easier to do it if you were actually brewing beer and things like that. But I hate to say this. I hope I don't get in trouble. But at the end of the day, this is Mexico, bro. And so you know what I mean. So
yeah.
you can
Pay
stand on the
to
corner pretty
play.
much anywhere and sell whatever the fuck you want. At the end of the day, and
Hey, that's a double-edged sword, man.
it
It,
is. It really is.
I, I can see, definitely can see the downsides to that, but then, hey, do what you can do, man. If you can get away with it.
Yep.
We have a saying here. I'm sure it goes through there. Things are only illegal if you get caught.
Yep. Exactly. No, but I try to do everything as legit as humanly
Yeah,
possible, and I don't know. I try to expose people to mead, and more I see more mead makers trying to sell mead. Um, just to give an idea, when I first started selling mead at the craft markets, I was probably the only one, but not me. If you tell me how to make how do I make my mead, I'll tell you step by step because
right.
I don't care. I mean, the more you know, the better. The more people tell you, the more you read, see whatever, the more you'll know. But
Gotcha.
also so that you create some kind of community. And I
Hmm.
wish there was a little bit more of a community in that sense, but there is at the same time, even if I'm contradicting myself, because depending who it is, there's some pretty decent people out there that that share knowledge and things like that. But that's common. I mean, even in the beer world, it's the same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities in those two worlds. You get a lot of a lot of crossover attitude. It's a again, it's one of those double-edged swords. People want to hold their trade secret, quote unquote, as close to the vest as possible, and then you get plenty of people out there that basically put their recipe out for anybody to try to duplicate. Hey, bring it in so we can compare notes. All this thing. It's I don't think it's any different
Yeah,
anywhere.
exactly. That's why I just kind of let it go. I mean, whatever. I
Yeah,
just
try
keep
not to
chugging along.
take it personally.
Yeah, I just keep
Exactly.
chugging along in more than one ways.
Exactly. All right, so as this warms up, it's definitely opening up a little bit. The bouquet on it is quite more floral than it was before. I'm definitely picking up the wildflower honey in there. It definitely has that sweet characteristic that you get when you have the fermented honey in there. I'm not being able to pick out all those different spices. Again, we're talking anise, star anise, tarragon, coriander, cardamom, nutmeg, water, and licorice root. So not be able to pick out any of them individually. I mean, tarragon has such an intense, again, rooty, earthy characteristic to it. I don't know if you've ever had tarragon before, but it is it's too strong for me.
Okay.
Licorice root, yeah. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the licorice root, but like absinthe was always one of those things that it came to me. It was like something that's the how do they put that? The sum is greater than the whole of its parts.
Yeah.
Like it always just comes into this thing. But so I'm definitely enjoying the nose significantly more on it now. Now it's actually
Good.
smelling pleasant and not
Looks beautiful, man.
awkward. Yeah, I'll give him that. Drew makes a phenomenal. This thing is brilliant as could be. Not, I mean, the body on it is just everything. For being an absinthe inspired mead, it's definitely hit the body on the more. It's nice and thick,
Nice.
not cloying, but it's achieved a nice full body to it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with it in appearance wise. Ooh. Yeah, for me, I think it's just my taste of the blend of it. As it warmed up, it's definitely more pleasant. I'm picking up more types of characteristics of all those different types of of different anise and the licorice. Um, Again, the tarragon is there. It's okay. It's again not me. I think the spice blend is probably not my preference. Maybe it was put into different ratios. I might enjoy it a little bit more. But this is one I would definitely suggest trying warm if you end up getting one from him. I don't know if he's going to do it again. But one thing, at least show you guys the bottle because it's a cool little green fairy bottle.
Cool.
Yeah. And Drew makes some good stuff up there in Pennsylvania. This one
Cool.
just
Well,
maybe the
let's see if I can.
spice blend.
I think my sister's coming sometime this year. I have no idea when.
Oh,
It's a freaking whole year, but I
yeah,
think maybe in the middle of the summer or sometime. I'll see if I can
yeah,
send you some bottles,
sure.
and we'll see what happens.
Is that
You know?
your sister I met last time?
No, actually that was my niece
Oh,
when
that
we
was you.
met, but
That's
it'd
right.
be the same.
The same
It'd be her mom,
fan.
basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Heck yeah, man. Um, I was looking online the other day on there's a job website here called Indeed, and it's just job listings and whatnot. And I just looked up Meadery just for shits and giggles, and there were three meaderies on there that actually had job postings for like assistant mead makers and stuff. And one of them is was Batch Mead down in Temecula, and it's like not too far away from here. I mean, it's like a 6 hour drive. It's close, pretty close to LA. But I was like, man, if I could stay here and be an assistant mead maker, that would be pretty legit.
Oh, cool.
But I don't want to live in
Where are
California.
you at right now?
I'm in California. I'm in
Oh,
Modesto, so just about 90
okay.
minutes outside of San Francisco.
I have family over there in
Oh, okay.
Vallejo, and
Yeah, that's San
yeah,
Francisco.
it is. And my girlfriend uh, visited the North Cal
Hmm.
and got me some bottles from McGee's Mead, and
Oh yeah,
and it's pretty nice. And I don't know. There's a lot of meaderies there, man. I wish I ran into some people at craft market that were visiting from California and like
hmm,
the LA area and stuff, and
yeah.
they're like, "Man, I wish there was more meat over there. I love meat." I'm like,
In
"Really? Like, have
California?
you been?" That's what I said. Exactly. California? Well, I mean, just pick a direction and go. I mean, you'll
Yeah,
and tell them about Honey Pot and Batch and McGee's
yeah, no,
and a few other ones. I'm like, there's a lot to choose from. It's just whether you're willing to take a nice little
make
drive. So
yeah.
I don't think there's
It
any
just sucks that your state is
in LA.
really yeah. I mean, from basically from San Diego to Sacramento, up north of Sacramento, I'm not sure there's much of anything until you get into Oregon, to be fair. But I mean, that's a good chunk of the state, a good 2/3 or more of the state where
Yeah,
you have. I mean, you got up in Napa again. That's where McGee's meets it. She's up in wine country in Napa,
she's in
St. Helen,
San Elena.
say yes,
Yeah,
St. Helen or something like that. But they don't even have a tasting room.
yeah,
They're a to go only type of thing.
yeah.
I can't remember if I've had any of their meads. I think I've tried them at one of the festivals when there was, or at one of the competitions when I saw them in the tasting room afterwards. But yeah, Stacy makes some pretty good stuff from what I hear. I
It
haven't seen their.
is. What I got two. I forgot which one I got. I think it was the Earl Grey and kumquats
Ooh.
and some other one. I think it was a traditional,
Oh,
and
okay.
they tasted pretty good. I think they were a little bit lower on the alcohol level that I like,
Mm.
but and I'm not sure if she meant to make the Earl Grey one. Um, sparkling or petulant, but
Oh,
I think it would have tasted a lot better, honestly, still. But that's just my personal preference. It was still pretty good, you know.
yeah.
Um, and that's it for bottles. I love those flip tops, But um, what are you gonna
I was just gonna say, the only thing I don't like about their stuff is those stupid flip tops.
do? Well, the reason I like it is because what happened, I lost or broke my bottle opener and my
Oh,
thing to take out my corks. So I
yeah.
was like, it was just a pain in the ass, and I was just too lazy to go get one. But when I got those, I'm like, well, hell yeah, I don't need to do it. I just
Pop
flip, drank it.
those and away we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, they're super convenient. I'm just being
No,
bougie.
I get it, man. It's all good. That's how I was with the carbonation level of it, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah. So so you said this next year you're going to be hitting more of these craft markets and more different uh, beer halls or breweries or tap rooms, whatever whatever they want to classify themselves. Just try to get your stuff out into market more. I'm kind of surprised you're not in any establishments yet.
I haven't really made the effort to,
Oh, well,
but
that would do it.
that's my goal for this year is to make an effort to do that,
Cool.
and just not only because I have two different kinds in terms of price
Mm.
and I don't want to say quality, but really times in which it takes to make and what people want, because it's so new, people don't really want to pay a whole lot of money for it
Right,
either. So I have
your
two different
entry level
kinds.
line and like your connoisseurs line.
Basically, I have, I think right now, six different hydromels. They're not sessions. They're like 7% alcohol, and what's a hydromel
Yeah,
like 7.58 below. So, um,
under 10%.
no, it's under 7.5 or 8. It's a hydromel. 8 to like 14, it's standard,
Is
and
it all
then
the way
above
down
that
to
is
8 to
sap.
14?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Well,
under 10. Yeah,
no, it's to like seven
all the
and a
way
half
down
or
to
eight. Yeah.
7.
So
Okay,
I have a
sounds
six
about right.
of those, and I'm actually going to come out with a new one of that. But it's going to be like a pepper and clove uh, type of session hydromel style one, which is what
Interesting.
I don't want to say cheaper because it sounds bad, but just the quick get buzz type of drink. And then the
Yeah.
other kind that I have is mead that I've let aged for like a year.
Oh wow.
So and so I have a bunch of those too. I have I think maybe 24, 25 different meats that I'm waiting for them to and get ready so I can bottle them. But right now I'm trying to change the bottles so I can start using corks, even though But
Yeah.
so I'm doing that. And for example, this particular one here, it
Yeah.
took me effing forever to do this one because I didn't want to use any kind of gas, chemical, or alcohol to extract the flower, the cannabis flower.
Yeah.
So what I ended
Ooh.
up doing is I had a big old jar of and I macerated honey with the flower. So for 3 years, 3 effing years, I had honey macerating in that flower. Every 6 months, I would take the flower out and put more or new one
New flower.
every
Yeah.
6 months. And every day or every other day, I'd mix it up.
Yeah.
And if I remembered, I would take it out every day out to the sun, so it would heat up a little
To
bit, just so
try
that
to yeah
to
infuse a
try
little
to
better.
convert some of the CBD would turn into THC and whatnot. Um, so I did that for 3 years, and um, then uh, I fermented the mead. I threw some
That's
after
wild.
got done fermenting. I threw some French oak in it, some chips,
Ooh.
and back sweetened, and with some more of that honey, what was left of it, and then I went ahead and just let it age for a year. Um, so it, dude, like 4 years for something like that, and then but once I explain those type of things to people, they're like, "Oh, I get it. I get why you're actually asking for that kind of money." So I'm like, "Okay." Then they're more willing to go ahead and you know crowbar open their wallets and to pay for it.
No kidding. insane, dude. So you probably had that honey going before I met you then.
Yeah, yeah. Before you met me,
Holy,
definitely. When I first
yeah,
started making mead, had that honey going basically already
dude.
around the same time. And I was like, and I didn't even think I was going to make a mead with it, to be honest with you. I just thought, hey, you know what?
Have some infused
This will help
honey.
somehow. Yeah, exactly. And I didn't want to do any of that chemical thing because my whole shtick, if you will, is
Yeah,
all as natural as humanly possible. No chemicals, everything natural. And
yeah.
but yeah, it 4 years to do that. And when am I going to make it again? I have no idea because I haven't even started macerating any more honey and
Flower.
cannabis flower.
How big
So
of a batch of honey was that?
one of those jars are fit like they're like this big, so like
The
a
big
gallon,
glass mason
yeah,
jar.
like a gallon or something
Yeah,
like that.
and
Yeah,
it had a giant wide mouth screw top on it.
yeah. No, actually, it was one of those flip tops that has like a that rubber seal on it, and just flip it
Oh yeah,
and
like a
close it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it took a
Holy
while,
crap!
but I gave it to the. I was at a craft market, and this cat, he's like, he asked me what I was selling. I'm like, well, I'm selling mead, blah blah blah. He saw the CBD. He's like, oh, what's this here? I'm like, well, I
Yeah,
explained it. He's like, oh,
yeah,
okay. And he's like, you know what? I hurt my arm not long ago, and it hurts constantly. I'm like,
yeah.
well, you should buy that mead. He bought it. He bought it, and
I
I
love it.
opened and I opened it for him, and he started
Oh,
drinking it. And within the
right the
first few
fucking
chugs,
there.
yeah, the first few chugs, he's like, you know what? I'm feeling better. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh, hell yeah. It's because it's so much CBD and that little bit to activate the CBD of
Yeah,
THC. Otherwise, without it, it just doesn't do anything. I don't know if you've ever bought any CBD, anything you
yeah.
consume it and it does nothing. It's
It's because
because
it's
they
not
don't take the time.
activated.
Exactly. You need some THC to activate it. Without it, zip,
It's a whole
nada.
different.
No,
Yeah.
doesn't do anything.
What a freaking wild ride! How big of a Those are you do 500 ml bottles, right?
No, it's
Oh,
375.
those are three. Yeah, whew, good
And
call.
that's actually, yeah, that's what actually I've been having problems finding 375 bottles that you can put corks in.
Oh,
The 500 mils, somewhat easy to get. The regular 750, super easy to get.
yeah.
But beyond that, 375, it's ridiculous. And I've been trying to find something like that so it looks nicer, you know,
Hmm.
so that the value fits the what you're looking at.
You're wanting something like these bottles.
It's something, so I think they're called what Bellissima or something like that.
Oh,
They're
you want
Italian. Yeah,
Bellissimas?
something or
Yeah,
something like that. But something that would actually take the 75, so I don't have to actually raise the price. You know, I
right.
I, I don't want to do that. And but step by step, so to speak.
100%. Yeah, yeah. Bellissimas are really hard to get. I don't have. I've got one right down in my cabinet, but I can't get to. It's all blocked by cameras and stuff. But yeah, no,
Well,
Bellissimas are like they're like olive oil bottles. They're the ones that are really tall and skinny, and
Well, as long as
yeah, those ones are.
as long as it's 375 and they can take a cork, be perfectly fine by that. With it, it's just but that style or like the one that you pointed out, but they're really hard to get here.
Yeah, damn you, Jamie. My Spanish isn't good enough to be able to read all that.
Actually, I gifted him one of these
Oh,
bottles when
oh,
his
nice.
family took him some not long ago, and he's saying that he's going to save it whenever he hits himself or whatever, or bumps his
Wait
head
till he needs
somewhere. He's
some
gonna,
needs to yeah do some
yeah,
recovery. There you go. I like that. That's a good call, Jimmy. All right, got me get one more go with this and see if it's kind of mellowed out or brightened up even more. I think I pretty much reached maximum bouquet potential here. Yeah, it's definitely still brightening up as it warms up, but it's got a real streak of whatever. I think I'm pretty sure now that I read the ingredients, it's the tarragon
I would
that's doing it for me.
I would love to try it actually, and And I've been noticing that a lot of them, at least when I try to do it, but I actually enjoy meads room temp more
Hmm.
than
Same.
actually really cold. And
Yep.
and especially when you let them breathe like you did, changes it like it just changes a lot of things, and a
Yep.
lot of the characteristics pop out a bit more.
Yep.
The ingredients, but I think you're right. I'm not a big fan of tarragon, to be honest. That's probably what it is.
And that's, yeah, that's again, that's my guess based on the after reading the ingredients list. But it like aside from that, I mean, I don't think it's flawed. I don't think there's anything wrong
No,
with
no,
it.
it doesn't look like it.
There's
Let,
yeah, I think it's just a a spice blend preference. So,
in all honesty, if somebody told me that they didn't like a certain particular mead, I would still try it
oh
because
sure,
you know you never know. Maybe I
yeah,
would like it. Who knows? You know.
yeah. I always try to encourage people to try stuff, even if I don't like it. I think maybe once or twice I ever said, you know what, I wouldn't even bother trying with this. But even then, I'm sure, people even took that as more of a, well, fine, I'm gonna go try it anyway. Well, I would hope they would
Exactly.
anyway. Take it as a direct challenge.
Hmm.
Yeah, yes, sir. Uh, I want to go back on the statement that you made earlier. You said even if people are making crappy meat, it's still good for the industry. Um, I always kind of lean the other way. You don't want to introduce somebody to mead on a subpar product because then you're pretty much going to be. My thought was you're pretty much going to be turning them away. But I have to, I'm going to have to go back and say I changed my statement to agree with that, with what you said, because even if they're getting crappy mead, the advocacy part has at least been done, and maybe even they remember mead more now because they had a terrible mead, and the next time they remember, oh, I remember that. I know what mead is now because I had that bad one, and then you can always hit them with, well, you haven't had my mead yet, or
That's
something along those lines.
that's literally what I was going to say to you. I ran into a number of people at those craft markets where they're like, "Oh, I don't like meat," or "I've had meat before." Well, you haven't had mine.
Yeah,
You don't have to buy anything. I just want to give you a taste.
right. It's free
Come and
tasting.
free tasting. Come and taste it. You don't have to buy it.
Yep.
Take it. And I'm actually I try to be a glass full type of person.
Mm.
So that's probably why I also said that because I think it does help in some way, and you're right, it does hurt in some way too. But I like to lean the positive route.
Right.
For peace of mind more than anything, I guess.
For the sake of not living a stressful life.
Yeah, I'm stressed enough, and no need for to pile it up.
No kidding. Yeah, no, that's a solid point. Advocacy is definitely the hardest part. Like you said, you feel like you're, years behind the states and, significantly farther behind places like Poland. I haven't to counter that. There's some places I haven't even had any meat. I'm having the hardest time finding mead from some of these places. I had spoke with a guy in South Africa who was trying to um, re, re what was it, rebuild, reinstate something. He basically found a recipe that was like 7,000 to 8,000 years old or
Wow.
something like that. And he was trying to bring this whole thing back up, and I've been reaching out to him, trying to get him online. I was trying to do this whole international mead focus, just to try to get a lot of people's different, takes on, like talking to you about the different laws there and everything, and talking to with Marius. I think that's a lot of things that mead consumers don't know about other parts of the world, and one of them being, like you were saying, is how far behind or ahead, or where the mead community is at in their country versus other countries. And um
And
you know
when I said that too, it's I guess it's just where it's where it's not really known or you have to explain. I'm really talking really more about the common people that
sure,
are not into, let's say, medieval fairs or
yeah,
Viking stuff, because I know a lot of people that make mead, and I know a lot of people that consume mead, but that's because I make mead and I've made an effort to get to know people that do the same thing, that enjoy the same thing. So it's
Right.
you know it's hard to it's hard to explain or whatever when it's somebody that doesn't know anything
Right.
or really only drink cheap beer or only drink wine, for example, you know. But
Yeah.
I think that's why I try to make a lot of different stuff, wine style meads as well as aged meads or even
Yeah.
carbonated. I mean, not session like hydromels. I
Yeah.
hate when people say session. To be honest with you, I think it's silly. That's why there's a hydromel, because it covers from 7.5, 8 to 3.5 or 3% alcohol.
Why you call
But
it
it
a
is what it
session mead
is.
when you should be calling it a petulant hydromel
Exactly. There's no. I
or a
mean,
sparkling
and
hydromel?
I'm not trying to prop up BJCP or anything, but I like to. It's a good thing that we have some kind of standards to go by, and I think it's
Yeah.
kind of silly that people just jumped on the session beer bandwagon that they started to call certain meats session meats with.
Sessions.
And that's not really what it is, in my opinion.
No, but I think that kind of. Oh no, I agree 100%. I think it goes back to one of those things. It's like the crappy mead in somebody's hand. It's a necessary evil. Should we be calling it a session mead? No, but if it gets into somebody's hand and now they know what a mead is a technical term really something we need to be, want to be parsing hairs over at this point?
Exactly. So I let it
Yeah.
go. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So it bugs me,
yeah.
but I let it
Well,
go.
words have meanings for a reason, and we're supposed to use them in the way that they're intended,
I think so.
unless
Exactly.
you involve slang and all that stuff. But I
Yep. Yep.
digress. Oh man,
Oh, you want some
it's yeah.
lovin's?
Of course,
Sorry, my
dogs
dog.
want loving.
Your puppy's bigger.
Yeah, I was really hoping to. One of the people I reached out to and was trying to talk to was Wicked Way Mead. They took first place at Mazer Cup this year, or best of show at Mazer Cup.
Mhm.
I talked to the guy a little bit and chatted with him in online. He's not in a place right now where he can do any um, interviews and whatnot. But I'll uh, I'll tell you a little more offline. But his situation is like I can't believe he's getting away with what that dude is getting away with. Again, it may be like just my knowledge of how laws work here and stuff, but like the guy is doing some pretty wild shit in Japan, and I'm really dying to get some of his meat.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I follow a couple. I'm not. Maybe it's the same dude. I'm not sure, but I follow a few guys in Japan that do mead, and some of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff looks pretty damn cool. And
Yeah,
so
it,
I'm not sure what they're if it has like a meadery name or something, but
it Wicked Way Mead.
I think I follow him. But,
Yeah,
oh
I like I said,
yeah, man, definitely do follow him. I know. Oh man, looks like some pretty decent stuff, man. I would love to try some of that stuff too. Looks
yeah,
cool.
the dude's got like I said, he's got a wild setup. It's completely blew me away when he sent me a couple pictures of his setup and whatnot. And I was just like, you're fucking crazy, dude. Like I've heard of some people like heard of this one guy who was up in the uh I guess it's a kind of moot point at this point, but he was up in the Seattle-ish area, and this dude was going around selling meat out of the trunk of his car to fund his his meadery and whatnot. And yeah, I was like straight up just like yeah, show up places, pop the trunk, had a little display in there, cash only sales right out of the back of the trunk, and like you said,
Mexico style.
I was gonna say this is Mexico, is how we do it, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, brother. Well, we are hitting that 1 hour mark, and I got dinner
Oh
calling me
wow,
in the other
really?
room. Yeah. Um, I always love talking with you, my man, and I need to have you on more often. This is the type of stuff I need just to chat and hang out and breathe and talk mead and just from a break from the wild and craziness of the day.
I just finished my first braggot. It's
Nice.
an American cherry stout,
Ooh,
um, made with mango blossom honey. I'm
nice.
gonna bottle it probably tomorrow. So maybe like when you have one of your Tuesday, Wednesday lives, can
Yeah.
jump in and we can pound one. like I told you we would. So,
Yes.
you know, we'll chug one. We'll chug a mead.
Yes. Do a
The
mead
mead
chug.
chugging
I'm
crew.
here for it. Yeah.
You
Dude,
know?
on that note, there's a brewery here that I've been hanging out at that they've got a homebrew group that the homebrew group is based out of another brewery, but this is like one of their regulars that they go to. And I'm trying to get them to do a collab with me for a braggot.
Ooh, what kind of beer would you want to do? You
And
know,
that's
I
a
know you got to go, but sorry,
oh
I'm keeping you, by the way.
well, no. It was me wanting to go get to dinner. It's nobody's calling me yet. Dinner's calling. I just been a long time since lunch. No, I'm wanting to do. That's the part I don't know is what type of beer I would want to do. I know so little about making beer and brewing beer. Like I know what I like to drink. Like I'm a sucker for ambers, but I don't know if an amber would make a good braggot out of a red beer.
Yeah, it would. I think um, I, I wish
Probably
I could
depend
get
on the
it
type of honey
still.
you would need, huh?
That's what I was thinking because that's what I thought actually. I had a year ago. I bought a no, it was longer, maybe like a year and a half or two. I bought a bucket of chia blossom honey, and that's one of the
Ooh,
things that I thought about because it's kind of like a spicy, floral, earthy flavors, tones to it. It'd be
yeah,
great with something like a red ale or even maybe um, some kind of ale, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And a red ale would be perfect for that. But I guess there's other honeys that are like that too. So definitely would, I
What type of
think.
what type of pounds per gallon are here? Like, I mean, these guys are. I mean, they got legitimate setup there. I mean, how much honey would I need to bring to the table?
Depends, I guess. I mean, depends on whether you want to do what, like a hydromel bread
Uh,
or a standard
all right,
or
smart
a sack.
ass.
You know, well, it's true though, you
I
know.
I know it's true.
But I don't
Yeah,
know,
I would.
depending what the law, what it is too, the
Yeah,
size.
well, not even be able to get a 5 pound frickin' or a 5 gallon bucket right now. I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that's probably even gonna happen. I mean,
Well, I mean, you got to consider too that half of it's going to be fermentable sugars from the beer. So if anything, that'll save you money or honey. You know, so
yeah,
it'll be
that's
half
true.
and half.
It's not gonna be all honey. That's a good point. They're gonna have
Yeah.
a good chunk in there of malts and grains and whatnot.
This is the CBD one I was showed you.
Dude, your freaking clarity is amazing on that too. What do you find with?
What do I what?
What do you find with? What do you clarify with?
Nothing. Um,
Time?
time really. Like I said, I tried to do as naturally as humanly possible.
Yeah,
Um, and I've noticed too is that even if I use fruit or spent chips or whatever,
yeah,
um, I can just add that to like a something to finish fermenting. And because it's at 0 points in density, if you add something to it, it's going to add more flavors, tones, but it actually it just clears faster. So this one in particular, as soon as I added the oak, dude,
yeah.
like it cleared in like a week or two. It was nuts.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I added the oak, and I think the oak just kind of pulled everything to it.
Yeah.
Besides extracting all the tannins and flavors from that oak,
Do an
it was nuts.
exchange.
Yeah, so
Gives out tannins, takes in haze.
exactly. So I use fruit, I use oak, all kinds of stuff like that to
Yeah.
try to clear stuff up. Plus time, since I do
You
everything
ever cold
natural.
crash
So
anything?
no, I don't. Not really. I mean, the place because I don't have it here that I have all my mead.
Yeah.
It stays pretty cool, especially during winter time. It's freaking freezing, so it helps out. So I don't bother even doing that. Just especially because I let stuff age anyways. So then I just once it's done fermenting, I add more fruit or oak or what have you, and it just clears up even faster. You know.
Seeing you're so far south, I wouldn't think that freezing would be an issue. I thought you would have had the other problem, things being too warm.
No, it actually it gets from November to I believe March or so. It's pretty chill, pretty cold,
Wintry.
and yeah, and here right now it's been colder than normal. It's
Yeah.
probably one of the coldest winters that we've seen here. I mean, it was what was it, like 3 or 4 degrees Celsius here
So that's like,
not long ago,
yeah, it's
which
like
is super
40
cold.
degrees ish.
It's cold as hell here,
Yeah.
considering all, and even then during the heat of the mid summertime, the place that I have my lab, if you will, stays pretty
Yeah.
cool. So I don't have too much of an issue with heat.
Are
Just
you
the
talking
winter
about three
time
or
is when
four for like a daytime high
um
or
no, it was
nighttime
nighttime.
low?
Nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
During the day, it was super low still. Not what it normally is, like an average. I think it was like 20. I
No,
don't even
mama,
know.
that's warm.
20 degrees? I have no idea.
No, well,
Oh,
compared to where
Jimmy
Jimmy's at, he's
is,
saying 40 as a nighttime low is incredibly warm. I mean, because Jimmy's in
yeah,
Wisconsin,
I
where
was gonna say,
he's
it's
getting
like
snow
here.
by the foot.
Exactly. I feel bad for him, actually.
I don't. He chooses to live there.
Yeah, true, true. But
I love Jimmy.
uh,
He's great.
he is, dude. But I guess I want to thank you for having me on here. I do
Oh,
wish that
always.
we do this a bit more often. But I really do want to
Yeah,
come on here again next week or a couple of weeks
yeah,
so we can chug that mead like I mentioned. Okay.
absolutely. I'll have to find something. This is like the least amount of meat I've ever had. I think I'm down to like 6 commercial bottles. Like I'm like, it's terrifying right now.
I feel you. Yeah, I understand.
But
But
no, we'll definitely make it. I've got my own meads I can chug too.
yeah, well, there we
I got lots of
go.
those.
There you go.
Let's go. What up, Scotty? Hi. Ooh, how do you pronounce that? Scotty? Katie?
Skady hydromels.
Yeah. Hello. I like your name. Uh, you need to. You need more Brulahan in your life. Hey, everybody, as far as I'm concerned, needs more Brulahan in your life, dude. Yeah, if you know anybody in Florida that can get you a Brulahan, you need to come up on one of those. And that's real talk from hospitality
My,
right there.
my girlfriend just came from Florida and she got me a couple of meads from Saint Ambroise Meadery, or
That sucks. They're not even from Florida.
no, they're not. They're actually from Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah, St. Ambrose.
yeah,
Yep.
and maybe next time she goes, I can get some of that because I
Yeah.
heard it's good.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely good stuff. Yeah, just a little bit. I
yeah,
hear it's kind of good.
yeah. Okay,
All right,
we'll see.
brother.
All right,
I'll let you out. Have a good night, and yeah, we'll definitely
likewise.
link up in the next couple of weeks and do a big chug and all that
You
stuff.
got it. Bud. Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, have a good night, Tony. Love you, brother.
Peace. Bye.
Peace.
Love you too.
As always, have phenomenal speaking sessions with Tony. Anybody who doesn't follow him, go follow Muzen Meadery. He's out of Guadalajara, doing big things down there. CBD meads. He's got a mole mead that is very intense in flavor, and it is something that you have to try at least once in your life. So reach out to him. Maybe you can get a swap set up, especially if you know somebody in Mexico. It'd be significantly easier if he doesn't have to get them across the border for you. So thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate that. Next week we will be on with, I don't have my list in my calendar in front of me. It's right over there. Um, but I believe we're going to be on with Juniper Tree Meadery next week. Check out check out my stories. I'll be posting it and all that stuff. So as always, everybody have a good night. Thanks for joining me. Peace.